Hello everyone, myself Himanshu Joshi. I am an assistant professor in Sri Labhubhai Trivedi Institute of Engineering and Technology, Rajkot. Welcome to the next video lecture of Interconnected Power System. We will continue our topic for chapter number 4, that is the economic operation of power system. So today we will start with the some basic definition, and that definition is of equality constraint and inequality constraint. Now, what do you mean by constraint? Constraint, if I will say a simple meaning of constraint, then the meaning of constraint is disturbance. Clear? Some disturbance is the another meaning of constraint. So, in electrical power system, there are two types of constraint. First one is equality constraint and second one is the inequality constraint. Now, what do you mean by equality constraint? Equality constraints are the constraint that always have to be in binding condition. So, the quantity in electrical power system which always in binding condition, then that quantity is known as equality constraint. And on another way, inequality constraint means the quantity which is not in binding condition, means the quantity which have no limitation or no boundary condition, then that type of quantity we can add that quantity in inequality constraint. And the quantity which has constant value or near about the constant, that type of quantity is known as equality constraint. So, let us consider the example of equality constraint and inequality constraint. So, I can say that equality constraint, the first example of equality constraint is area megawatt interchange. That means, if we consider the two area, then in this two area there might be the exchange of power between two. So, with respect to that megawatt interchange, this interchange has some fixed value. Clear? This interchange has fixed value, that this much amount of power will flow from area 1 to 2 or area 2 to 1. Then this interchange is always fixed between two area. So, that type of quantity we can say that this is the equality constraint. Now, second one is generator set voltage or generator voltage set point. So, we can say that the voltage or output voltage for the generator is always fixed. So, that is again a quantity which is comes under the equality constraint. Third one is generator load balance. We can say that the amount of power which is generated is almost equal to demand. This is always equal to each other or tends to equal to each other. So, we can say that this is also known as equality constraint. Now, consider the inequality constraint. So, first example is generator real power limit. We can say that generator real power has the limit of Pg minimum to Pg maximum. So, the output power is not constant every time. So, we can say that generator real power limit comes under the inequality constraint. So, same way we can say that generator reactive power limit is also comes under the inequality constraint. And third one is bus angle. So, bus angle delta. So, delta is also have some minimum and maximum value. Clear? So, that bus angle is also comes under the inequality constraint. So, with the basic definition, we can classify the quantities in terms of equality constraint and inequality constraint. These are the some of the example. There are lots of example which comes under the equality constraint. and comes under the inequality constraint. So, to understand the basic definition, I have considered the 3 example in this both case. Now, let us move towards the next topic, that is the optimal operation, or we can say that economical operation. So, to start with the economical operation, we have to consider the one assumption, and based on that assumption we will learn our optimal operation of generator. So, that assumption is that generator which are run to meet a particular load demand on the station. So, we are having a prior information for generator which runs to meet a particular load demand on the particular station. That means, to run a particular generating unit on economical basis, we are having a proper information that which generator is run to meet a particular load demand on particular station. Clear? We know that which generator supplies to which load. This is the assumption, and based on that assumption we are going to derive the economical or optimal operation of particular generation or particular generating unit. So, what is the basic requirement? Basic requirement is which generator supplies to which load. This should be known to us, and based on that we are going to derive the economical operation, or we are going to learn the economical operation. So, we already know that which generator supplies to which load for particular station. So, now let suppose there are k number of generators which are committed and active to supply the load PD. Clear? Let suppose there are k number of generator which are committed and active to supply the load demand which is PD, and that generation is given by PGI, where PG is the total number of generation and I stands for number of generator. If I is equal to 1, then Pg1 is the generation of unit 1, Pg2 means generation of unit 2. So, suppose there are 3 number of generator which are operates to supply the load which is denoted by PD. So, what is the total cost of 3 generating unit? What is the total cost for this 3 unit? So, we can say that the cost of unit 1 which generates the amount of power which is given by Pg1. So, this is the cost of unit 1, it is indicated by C1 of Pg1. Suppose cost of unit 2 is I will denoted by C2, and it is for generator Pg2. And suppose for generator 3 cost is denoted by C3 and its unit is Pg3. Its unit is Pg3. So, the total cost is equal to addition of all these 3 cost. Clear? Total cost is equal to addition of these all 3 individual unit. So, the unit cost for unit 1 cost is C1 of Pg1, for unit 2 cost is C2 of Pg2, for unit 3 cost is C3 Pg3. So, the total cost for entire load is given by the addition of individual unit cost. Clear? So, based on this discussion, now I am able to write the equation which indicates the total cost. So, I can write the total cost is equal to summation of I is equal to 1 to k Ci of Pgi. Clear? So, I will put for k is equal to 3, then this equation will be come into the picture. C1 of Pg1, that means we have to put I is equal to 1 to 3. So if I will put I is equal to 1, then C1 of Pg1 will be there. Now plus I will put I is equal to 2. So this is the C2 of Pg2 and I is equal to 3 for C3 of Pg3. So this is the total cost of generating station. Now our objective is to minimize this cost. Our objective is to minimize this cost to operate the system in optimal condition. Clear? Now this power Pg, as we have already discussed, this power Pg has some lower and upper limit. Clear? That we have discussed over here. This power Pg has some lower and upper limit. So this Pg is subjected to inequality constraint, and this constraint is that it has minimum value of Pgi minimum and maximum value of Pgi maximum. So let forget about the minimum value, let our focus is on maximum value. So I can say that this maximum value is should be equal to, greater than or equal to demand. Clear? Why generation is greater than or equal to demand? Because Pg should be equal to Pd, because this generator has to supply the additional loss of transmission line. Clear? This generator has to supply the some additional loss, clear, of transmission line. So this generation should be greater than or equal to demand. If I will consider the worst condition, or I will consider the reserve capacity, then this generation should be always greater than equal to demand, because if Pg is equal to Pd, then where will be the consideration of losses? If Pg is equal to Pd, then who will supply the load, who will supply the losses? Clear? So the actual condition is that this Pg should be greater than Pd, generation should be always greater than the demand, because that generator or generation has to supply the transmission line losses. Clear? So Pg should be greater than Pd. So this is the our next equation, and this equation we have written based on inequality constraint. So in this equation or in this discussion, we have considered that the cost is depends only on real power generation. The cost is only depends on real power generation, and we say that, or we have assumed that the cost does not depend on reactive power generation. The cost is not depends on reactive power generation, because we have defined our load in megawatt and we have defined our generation in megawatt. So we have not considered the reactive power. So we can say that, or we have assumed that cost is only depends on real power generation Pg, because whenever we are saying about the load, we are going to consider the megawatt or kilowatt only. So we have considered over that this cost is doesn't depend on the generation of reactive power, and we have also know that this cost is non-linear function. We have already learned about the equation of cost, and it is the quadratic equation. So we can say that cost is non-linear function, and we have also observed that if I am talking about the cost of unit 1, then this cost of unit 1 is only depends on generation of unit 1. If I will say the cost of unit 2, then this cost of unit 2 is only depends on generation of unit 2. Clear? So what I want to say that this cost is independent of generation of unit 2. Clear? I want to say that the cost of unit 1 is only depends on generation of unit 1, and this cost of unit 1 is totally independent of generation of unit 2. One similar way, I can say that the cost of unit 2 is only depends on generation of unit 2 and is doesn't depend on generation of unit 1. So individual cost will depends on individual unit and it is independent of generation of another unit. So with this discussion I can write that the total generation is equal to total demand. If I will neglect the losses, then I can write that total generation is equal to total demand, and second equation I can write that generation minus demand is equal to 0. If I will neglect the losses of transmission line, initially we are going to neglect the losses. In the next section we will also consider the same equation with losses. So currently assume that the losses are very much less and it can be neglected. So if I will neglect the losses, then I can write that generation is equal to demand and generation minus demand is equal to 0. So with this condition we have to find out the economical operation of transmission line. So let move forward for this discussion. Now the problem is solved by this economical operation problem is solved by method of Lagrange multiplier. To consider the economical operation or optimal operation, we are going to use the Lagrange multiplier, which is used for minimize or maximize a function in form of equality and inequality constraint. Clear? Lagrange multiplier is used for minimize and maximize both cases, but here we are going to use this for minimizing the cost function. Clear? With equality and inequality constraint. So in this method we have defined the augmented cost function, which is also known as Lagrangian function. Second name is augmented cost function or Lagrangian multiplier function. It is denoted by lambda. So now our cost equation before this constraint, please listen carefully. Before this condition, that is the summation of PGI for I equal to 1 to k minus PD is equal to 0. Before this constraint, our total cost is Ci. Now with this condition, our new cost is defined by C bar, and it is equal to C bar is equal to Ci minus lambda multiplied by summation of PGI for I equal to 1 to k minus PD. This is our new cost function because we have added this constraint in our cost function. Without this constraint, our cost is simply Ci. Now we will add this constraint into the cost function. So our new cost equation is equal to C bar, it is denoted by C bar, and it is equal to Ci minus lambda multiplied by summation of PGI for I equal to 1 to k minus PD. So this is the next or new function or new equation of cost, and here lambda is known as Lagrangian multiplier. So lambda is known as Lagrangian multiplier. Now what is our main objective? Our main objective is to minimize the cost. To minimize the cost. Now we know that if we derive or if we differentiate function with respect to its variable, if we differentiate the function with respect to its variable and consider that derivative equal to 0, then we will get the minimization in that particular function. So if our function is cost function, our variable is generation, so now if I will differentiate the cost function with respect to its variable and make that derivative equal to 0, then I will get the value of cost, and that cost value is minimum. This is known as minima theorem, and you all are aware with that. So now I will take the derivative with respect to PGI for this C bar. So now we know that C bar is equal to Ci minus lambda in a bracket summation I equal to 1 to k PGI minus PD. So I will put this value instead of C bar. So I will put the value over here. Now I will multiply the del by del PGI with bracket. So over here del Ci upon del PGI minus lambda del upon del PGI in bracket summation I equal to 1 to k PGI minus PD is equal to 0. So now this del Ci by del PGI will remain as it is minus lambda. Now del upon del PGI multiply by PGI. So its differentiation will become 1 minus this demand is constant, clear, or we can say that demand does not depend on generation. So its differentiation is equal to 0. So in bracket the remaining term will be lambda, in a bracket the remaining term will be this lambda in bracket del PGI upon del PGI is equal to 1 and del PD upon del PGI its differentiation will be 0. So in bracket remaining term will be lambda into 1. So I will write over here lambda into 1 because this is the partial derivative, clear. You have to observe that this is the partial derivative. So the variable which is other than PGI we will consider it as constant, and that's why del PD upon del PGI its derivative is equal to 0, clear, because we will consider the variable term only PGI or the term which is having a I value, clear. So PD is considered as constant because this is the partial derivative. So that's why its differentiation is equal to 0. So over here remaining term will be lambda into 1. So finally we can write del Ci upon del PGI, this minus lambda will shift to right hand side, so it will becomes plus lambda. So this is the condition, which is considered as optimal operation. And now let us define this term del Ci upon del PGI. Now let us define this term del Ci upon del PGI. Now what does it mean? It means that change in generation with respect to change in cost. Now this change may be positive or may be negative. Now consider the positive case. So positive sign. So we can say that increase in generation and increase in cost. Now this is the our old term, and we have already learned this term in our past lecture. It is known as incremental cost. It is known as incremental cost. We have learned this term. dCi upon dPgi. We have learned this term. So, change in generation with respect to change in cost. Now, if generation will increase, cost will increase. If generation will decrease, cost will decrease. So, this term del Ci upon del Pgi is known as incremental cost of ith generator. Incremental cost of ith generator. Now, if I will expand this term, then I will able to write that del C1 upon del Pg1 is equal to del C2 upon del Pg2 is equal to del C3 upon del Pg3 is equal to del C4 upon del Pg4 for the total number of k unit, and this individual ratio should be equal to lambda. So, now I have a clear cut conclusion that to operate the system in optimal condition or economical condition, the generator correspond to equal incremental cost for all the generator. Clear? Now, what does it mean? If you want to run system economically, then the incremental cost of individual unit should be equal. If you are going to operate each generating unit with same incremental cost, then you are able to run your system economically. Clear? Again I will repeat, if individual unit has same incremental cost, then your system will run economically, and this equation is known as coordination equation. This equation is known as coordination equation. It is known as coordination equation. That means individual generator incremental cost should be equal to operate this system economically. And now this is one of the most important for our exam point of view also. Clear? Now, how to find out this term lambda? Clear? How to find out this lambda? So, the procedure for find out the lambda is somewhat like this. Choose the trial value of lambda. You have to choose any arbitrary value of lambda. So, this arbitrary value, we can say that this is the 0th value and it is equal to incremental cost, or we can say that this arbitrary value is must be equal to your incremental cost. So, based on this lambda, you have to find out the individual PGI. Clear? Based on this lambda, you have to find out the value of PGI for individual unit, because once you know the incremental cost, you are able to find out the generation for that particular unit. And if this PGI minus PD is equal to your specified value, then you can say that your system is operate economically or optimally. Your system will run optimally or economically. Now, if this difference is not equal to your specified value, then you have to change your incremental cost. Clear? Then you have to change your lambda. If this difference is specified value, then your lambda will be clear, your lambda will be set value or your lambda will be true. But if this difference for this particular value of lambda is not in specified value, then you have to change your incremental cost or then you have to change your lambda. Clear? So, you have to change your lambda if this difference is not equal to your specified value. Now, how to change? Plus or minus? So, you have to increase your IC by delta IC if this difference is less than 0. if this difference is less than 0, or you have to decrease your incremental cost by delta IC if this difference is greater than 0. Clear? And now you have to repeat from step number 2. Now up to which you have to repeat your step till you have get the specified value. If you are not getting your specified value, then you have to change your incremental cost and repeat the steps. Once you have reached to a specified value, then you have to stop your procedure, and that will be your value of lambda, or that is your value of incremental cost. So this is the procedure to find out the value of lambda or incremental cost. So till now we will conclude our session. Thank you very much. If you have any doubt, any question, you can give your doubt or question in comment section. Thank you very much.